Hi everyone, in this video we'll talk about how to modify your Pure Barre workout at home. So let's talk about equipment first. We'll talk about the main pieces of equipment you'll see in class and what you might do if you don't have those pieces of equipment. So the first one are a light set of weights. We typically use 2 pounds, 3 pounds, or even 5 pound weights. I wouldn't recommend going much higher than that. We do a high repetition, low weights. So Carissa has our 2s here. If you don't have weights at home, you can definitely get started without them. You might want to use a set of water bottles. Just fill them up all the way, maybe something other than water. I don't know what liquids are very heavy. Maybe use some cans of soup, something like that, or no weights at all. And you really can get a great workout even without the weights if you focus in on contracting and squeezing your muscles as tight as you can. A bicep curl, you contract the muscle. Yeah, and you should be able to get a great workout even without that weight. So maybe you find some, or maybe you get started without. Another piece of equipment we'll use is the double tube. So it's a 2-loop resistance band. If you don't have one, it's so easy to do the workout without, but what it does is it'll add some resistance. Lots of times we'll hold it and we'll pull on it. So an option for that, maybe if it's a shoulder width grip, pulling on it. You can just grab a towel and do any of that pulling stuff without it. If we're putting it around our legs, just modify by not using it at all. But it really does add a lot to the workout if you're able to land yourself a double tube on the Pure Barre site. And the other piece of equipment we'll use is the ball. So if you don't have a ball at home, we use it again a lot just to squeeze and add some more resistance to exercises in different ways. If you don't have one, you can use a small pillow is a nice option. A towel again, so sort of rolled up towel, great option as well. So sometimes we'll place ball between the thighs, can squeeze a towel rolled up just the same. So that's a great way to get started if you don't have that ball. Last piece of equipment that you might have at home would be a mat. And you can do this workout without a mat, just depends on what surface. We kind of recommend, if you're gonna do it without a mat, to be on a softer surface like carpet at home. And if you're on a hard surface, just pull out even a yoga mat will do, and that'll really help you protect your tailbone. We'll be on the tailbone a lot. We're on the forearms and the knees doing planks and push-ups and things. So the mat will just help you also protect knees, tailbone, and have a little more comfort in the workout if you're working on a hard surface. All right, so that's it. Ball, tube, weights, mat, that's the equipment. But we'll also talk a little bit about how to modify at home without a bar. So in your Pure Barre on Demand videos, you'll see us working out with the bar, but you'll hear us refer to it as your support. So your support could be a wall, a chair, or a countertop. Those are our best recommendations. Know that I would say countertop and wall are gonna be your most supportive supports. Sometimes we'll lean into it, and you'll want a strong wall or countertop for that, not a chair that's gonna move around. If you just need a light touch on something for balance, a chair will be perfectly fine. But it's so easy to do any of these things, even if we're saying bar and we're using a bar. We won't do much pulling backwards off the bar at home, so you should be able to modify and achieve any of those positions without having the bar. But let's talk about one specifically, just as an example. We call these folded over positions, where in class you'll hold onto the bar with both hands, walk back, fold yourself in half, send your right leg back. So you'll see this position happen in class where she's fully folded over, hanging onto the bar. But if you're at home, an example of this, we'll just start back at the top. We place the hands on the wall, maybe a little lower than shoulder height, and then just walk all the way back until you're folded in half. So your hands are just flat against the wall, then you send your leg back, hips down, point the toes, legs straight, soften your standing knee. So you'll see she's able to achieve the same position without having to hold onto a bar. We'll also see this position with the forearms folded on the bar. So walked back and folding in half. Another great modification there. You can actually just place your forearms on the wall and do the same thing. You can even box out an arm on the wall if you wanted to get a little bit more balance, but very simple ways to modify some of those common positions that are a little trickier to modify with the bar. So the last thing we'll talk about is after you've been able to modify these positions, one central part of our Pure Barre technique, if you're joining in studio, is the hands-on interactions that your teacher will give you throughout class. So if you're working out at home with Pure Barre on Demand, you won't have that hands-on interaction, and the teachers can be so helpful to help you find your perfect form and challenge you. But what's really great is your Pure Barre on Demand teachers will give you so many tips and cues, and we just recommend you take every cue and tip in, try to adjust your own body to get in those right positions. In every video, you'll hear the teacher call out a demo person, 2 demo people, 1 person that's showing you some advanced class options, and then 1 person that's showing you modifications. So we really recommend you have a look at those people, watch them throughout class, glance up as you're working out from home, glance up at your screen, see what the position's supposed to look like, and try to mirror it as best as you can in your own body, whether it's the modifications or the advanced options. And lastly, last tip for modifying at home would be if you happen to have a mirror somewhere nearby, it's always really helpful to set that mirror up so you can see, you look at the screen, you see if your body is, by looking in your mirror, mirroring what you're seeing happening on the screen so that you can self-correct a little bit. And of course, if you can get into studio and do a few classes to have the teacher engage with you, that's always a great option as well to help your on-demand workouts be even more successful. So those were a few tips for how to modify your Pure Barre workout at home.